Hey guys, M.V.K here back again. Welcome back to another Marvel comic review. We're going to talk about a book that came out recently and that I wanted to talk about. Now I'm going to talk about it because I finished reading it. And we're going to talk about this book right here. Spider-Man Wolverine, Spider-Man Wolverine #1. This is written by Mark Guggenheim. And artwork by Carrie Andrews, which he does a really good job at the artwork. Actually, there's some really nice artistry, and I'll show off a few. But like, for example, look at Spider-Man here. He just looks beautiful. Nice art right there. And then of course there's some good Wolverine art where him just killing some Hydra agents. It's cool. So what is this about? That's the real question. What is this about? So what happens is Wolverine gets he gets a message from an old comrade of his back in his days. Back in the day, when he was a spy in general, and because Wolverine was as well. And what happens is this spy basically tells him that there's this file called the directory, and this directory has all the names of every undercover agent, spy from the past and the present. And at first it was supposed to be a myth, but people, he's telling Wolverine, no, it's not a myth, it's real, and people want it. And if those names get out, those agents and even the past agents are going to be in trouble. Wolverine notices when he's looking at he notices two former spies that he remembers, and those two spies are Richard and Mary Parker, Peter Parker's mother and father. Yes, people remember, they were spies. They were CIA operatives, and they were the best. They were two of the best, but they were betrayed, and that's when we know what happened from there. Now, what happens next is Wolverine, he goes in and he drives. Peter is on a date. He's on a date with his, I want to say new girlfriend, but she's kinda technically his on and off. Her name is Shay Markin, and Shay is there, and she's like, he's late. He comes down. She's like, you're late. And he's like, yeah, I know. But how many minutes? 22 minutes late. And they start going at it in terms of not arguing, but it's just like, she's reading him because I think she's a psychologist. And she's like, well, this probably has trauma. You're always so defensive. You joke when you're defensive, you start joking. And then she's like, well, I thought you liked my jokes. And she's like, she says, yeah, but they going back and forth, of course. And she starts analyzing him again, like, tell me about your parents. And he literally says, well, they were spies and they died and all that. So and she says, well, there you go again with the jokes. And Peter's talking to us, and he's like, no, they were spies, and they died. Here comes Wolverine on his motorcycle. Parker, get on, I need you now. And it's just like, and we all know Wolverine knows who Peter is. So they go, and Peter has to turn around and say, so I'll be right. This is not my fault, like I said. And Wolverine is like, did I ruin it? Oh yeah, sorry. And he says, I'm sorry. So they suit up and they go to a SHIELD helicarrier that's in mothballs, because that's where they soak the the directory is in Shield, because Shield is no more even in the comics. I hate that. So when they get there, Wolverine and Spider-Man start facing two of their enemies, Kraven and Omega Red. What a team up, right? Kraven and Omega Red teaming up to fight Wolverine and Spider-Man. So Spider-Man and Wolverine, they switch partners. They switch. Wolverine's face Kraven, Spider-Man faces Omega Red, and it's really cool to see that, because I'm like, Spider-Man has never faced Omega Red if I can remember, but to see that going down, I'm like, oh, this is cool. And Kraven's like, while Spider-Man's doing his tactical joke, making jokes and everything. Yes, it's a tactic. Okay, let's put it like that. It's a tactic. And Wolverine's like, I can see. Tells one thing that was funny was like Wolverine tells Kraven, I can see why you always been trying to kill him, and because the jokes, and Kraven's like, but you're a better prey. And Wolverine is outclassing Kraven, and Spider-Man is, Omega is like, my partner said you were tough, and think, oh really? Okay, I'll show you. And you just see Spider-Man just drop kick the fuck out of Omega Red and sends him flying. So yeah, so it's really cool. And while Wolverine says, I'll handle them and you go find the directory, and Spider-Man does find the directory. He finds it, and inside one of the helicarriers, and while he sees his parents, he sees in one directory, he sees a file of Richard and Mary Parker, because he's seeing all the different, and he looks up his parents' name, and he sees their last mission of how they died. He sees what happened to them, and he hits the button. Peter hits the button in the final transmission, and we see them. We see them in the sky, Richard and Mary, and we see someone come up from behind them because they're on a plane. Someone comes behind, and they say, "Someone's," and then you see Richard says, "Someone's," and then Mary, it has a gun to him, says, "Freeze." And who that person is, from the hair, it's Wolverine. It's Wolverine. And Peter's like, Logan? Like Logan was, and then Richard, you got Richard here who says, he basically says right here, he's like, what the hell are you doing on this plane? And then you just hear Logan says, my job. And that's it. It goes to black. Now, with that being said, Wolverine finishes dealing with Omega Red and Kraven, and all of a sudden, Wolverine gets drop kicked from the back by Wolverine, by Spider-Man, and he clocks him. You can see it right here, and he's like, Logan! And Peter is just, I'm gonna kill you, like, and that's how it ends. Interesting start. What does this mean now? So, what does this mean? Mark Guggenheim, I feel this is just trying to get buzz, because it's been getting buzz. So basically, we're to believe that Richard and Mary Parker were killed by Logan. Logan killed Peter's parents. I'm not buying it. This is just a selling point to sell this book. Is it a good selling point? Maybe. But if you're someone like me who knows the backstory of Richard and Mary Parker, you know that their deaths were involved with not Wolverine, but with the Chameleon. So, anyway, the point about it is that a good start. I enjoyed it for what it was. To me, the highlights were Carrie's Andrew's artwork was good. To me, the highlights is seeing Spider-Man fight Omega Red, and handling Omega Red with ease. Not like he was having a tough time. Sure, Omega Red did get his tentacles around, but Peter just ripped them off of him and was just webbing him. And then after kind of when Omega Red said, like, I thought you were tough. Craven said you were tough, and he's, oh really? Okay, take this. And that was some of the moments that I liked. But this whole moment that Wolverine is responsible for Richard and Mary Parker's death, I'm not buying. A good start to the first issue. I give it out of 10. I'll give it a 8 out of 10. Good start. Basically, mainly because of the art, but the whole concept of like Wolverine killing Spider-Man's parents, I'm not buying. That can't be all of what he saw on that direct, because he was watching it. So I don't believe that. I don't buy it at all. But outside of that, it was a good story. I did enjoy it. And when I saw that Marvel was doing a Spider-Man Wolverine book, I was like, yeah, I'm down. I'm gonna pick it up because I have pretty much all the other team up books they had out, and I enjoyed it. I mean, Wolverine is away from Deadpool for a while because that's all Marvel has been is doing, all these Wolverine Deadpool books, But this was a good start. I think this is a 5-part miniseries. I don't know if this is an ongoing or it's just a 5-part. But yeah, the next issue we're gonna see Wolverine and Spider-Man fighting, and Wolverine better be on this because pissed off Spider-Man is not a good Spider-Man, and he's a deadly Spider-Man when he's pissed off. We seen what happened to Wilson Fisk, right? So yeah, Logan better be on his guard. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed that review. Tell me if did you read Spider-Man Wolverine #1, and if you did, I'd like to know, are you buying this too? Because I'm not buying it. I'm not buying this at all, that Wolverine has something to do with Peter's parents' death. They worked together, yes, but he wasn't their killer. This is just putting fuel on the fire of an already established story, And if they are retconning the deaths of Richard, this was stupid. I'll make that perfectly. That's dumb to sell the book. Like I said, it's Mark Guggenheim, so I'm always 50-50 with him. I'm never fully on board with anything too much. But you guys tell me what you thought about it. Have you read it? I'd like to hear it. Let's get into a conversation. As always, you guys take care.